Hey, how you doing, YouTubers? This is a quick clip from our upcoming podcast when we talk about when they see us. If you get a chance, hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube station. And you can go down there and watch and listen to the rest of the show on our podcast, Disruption Now. If you happen to watch it or listen to it on Apple Podcasts, or you can go to our website, disruptionnow.com. Hope you enjoy it.
Of course I hate these people. And let's all hate these people, because maybe hate is what we need if we're going to get something done.
I need that whole group. I have some of them and descriptions of others, but I need all of them. Every young black male who was in the park last night is a suspect in the rape of that woman. I want units out strong. Let's get an army of blue up in Harlem. You go into those projects and you stop every little thug you see.
I want to, you get to a point about being dehumanized, right? I mean, it was said often, right? Nobody said the N-word, but I like to say animals and thugs are a replacement for the N-word. Like they don't say that. They just say, go find those animals, go find those thugs. It's a way of dehumanizing folks in a new way. To me, I see a distinction without a difference. You can view whole groups of people. When they talked about go down to Harlem and get all the thugs you find on the street, as if every single black man you run across in Harlem that's standing outside, just go ask them, because they're all thugs. That's not even I'm not even extrapolating. That's what she said.
People paid attention to Donald Trump. No, he wasn't, an elected leader, but he was someone who mattered to a lot of people. So when he spoke, the media listened. He's been working the media for a long time. For him to come out and say something like that in an era where folks were really trying to debate whether or not the death penalty was something they wanted to continue, and certain states were actually debating back and forth whether or not they were going to even have it the next year. For him to utilize this case and extreme brutality, and he talked about it as if, he knew this woman personally, and to really accuse these young people who hadn't even stood trial yet, and to push for the death penalty. I think the highest level of punishment you could possibly get in our system, which most children aren't even eligible for. I think that is a problem in and of itself, but it was one that the media ate up.
All of these people who did nothing but read something in the newspaper or saw something on television immediately became experts on what was going on and what this was all about. And that's nonsense. But you see that all the time now. People become so certain about things that they know nothing about, and then they're willing to act on it and do something with this or do something with that, or we have to do this because I am just so sure that these kids did this. And it's like, you don't even know anything about it. What they've allowed, what the press has said. Yep. The press isn't out there. They're not vetting their stories like that. They're just trying to, at the time, they're just trying to sell newspapers, where the press is just trying to get people to watch. And so they'll say outlandish things. And then the cops and the prosecutor then say, hey, we got to feed the press. The press are, they want heads, so we got to give them heads. Yep. And it's like, well, hold on, what about the individual rights of people that you're going to step on in order so that the newspapers can get make their money and the prosecutors can look good in the paper?
Yep.
We're also a country that has a long history of going to the deep end when it comes to the defense of white women, white womanhood, and white women's suffering, especially in light of black males.
Yeah, especially in light of black males.
Whether they were there or whether they weren't, irrespective to evidence actually placing them someplace else. When it comes to black males, either adults or young boys, when a white woman is the one who is actually abused, injured, hurt, harmed, whatever, the automatic response is to go to the extreme when it comes to punishment.
We purport to be a country that believes in equal rights. We purport to be a country that believes in having the Fourth Amendment, that you're not supposed to just be pulled over, searched without any justified reason. But the truth of the matter is that's not how it worked in principle for these boys. It looked like another country. It looked like a country that doesn't believe in rights, a country that doesn't believe in process, a country that believes in convicting without any evidence. That's what this showed. And unfortunately, we know it's a story that's happened over and over and over and over and over.
And people need to pay attention. This is to their own detriment. Like, okay, yeah, the police jumped on these 5 guys and they made, criminals out of them and said, yeah, these are the guys that we've solved this crime. Meanwhile, the guy who did it is out there still doing stuff.
Yep. Out here raping and murdering.
Everybody's patting themselves on their back, and law enforcement, like, yeah, yeah, we got these black kids. We violated them. We didn't allow them to have their parents present during the interrogation. We that's cruel and unusual in itself when they're having these guys in rooms for 24 hours plus trying to interrogate them. Either way, we doing all this stuff. Yeah, we got him. It's Christmas. His mother went home voluntarily. Oh, it's Christmas. Yeah, all of that nonsense. And then the guy who did the rape is out there still raping.
I'm not going to pick on law enforcement because I think every industry has its bad apples.
To quote the great philosopher Chris Rock, once again, you can't, airline pilots can't have bad days. You can't have bad apples in airline pilots. I say the same thing with the cops. That's a profession that it's not like, oh, you had this bad apple. Oh, you lost $100,000. But you know what? You still go home and you're still walking and you still got your family and all that. But like, no, you lost your life.
It was that easy for them to interact with and take in exactly what the media was telling them. And I think that that's a very real thing that we have to think about when we think about how demonized these young men were, but also how hard it was for them to get a fair shake. I don't think there would have been a jury in America at that time that would have found them not guilty.
We are unique in America in terms of how many people we lock up. Even those other places where you say it works worse, like we have more people in prison than Russia. We got more people in prison than China, and we have a lot less people. So that's unique to America. So I don't think it's just the human condition. It's also the human condition within the United States of America.
It's very easy to get people to believe bad things about black folks. So if anybody says, it could be a 7'5", 350-pound solid rock of a man, say, yeah, I was afraid of that little 5'3" black guy. People will believe it.
I have personally seen 3-year-old black preschoolers get arrested because a teacher said she felt threatened by a 3-year-old little black boy. So at the end of the day, when you have to go and stand before Congress and talk about why this is done in schools, you know that there's a huge criminal justice reform problem.
We got black men being gunned down on tape now, more than we ever have. And it still doesn't seem to be changing.
Because people still see you as big, scary, black, and capable of doing something.
How do I change that?
It's easy to consolidate it when you're still pointing to another other who may be more different. So maybe Americans would be able to come all together if like Martians showed up. And like, we may be brown, but we're not Russian.